Hello, I am KJ, and we are here at the Rescue the Republic rally. Right now, RFK Jr. is speaking, and what brought you here today?
Particularly just coming here, showing up, actually showing up physically so people can see there are people who agree on the basis of their principles. I think that's very important. It's very simple. I mean, we don't agree on everything, but that's not what you need to do. You just need to unite around something. You know what I mean? So for me, personally, that's truth. That's what I want above all else. Like, we got lied to for, I don't know, like the last 5 years after COVID. It's like, that got annoying enough.
And so when you say truth, what do you think what is the most important issue that we've been lied to about and that you really feel strongly about, the truth that needs to get out?
It needs to get out. It's like the stuff that happens right in front of your face. I don't know.
Like, is it medical freedom? Is it censorship? Is it?
It's like, I'm not a moron, so I work at a distillery, for example. I'll say that. I actually had to pull aside my manager during COVID. It's like, it's ironic that during COVID, we serve people liver poison, essentially. So we're pretending we care about health, and then we're wearing masks that are not proven to do anything. There's nothing of any effect. I'm like, this is a joke, and it's okay if it makes you feel safe. I want to say that first. Do your thing. I was like, I'm gonna do me. I take care of my body, so I'm not worried about it. That's the best immune system we got.
Right.
So.
Right. And so, as I said, RFK Jr. is speaking now. As we know, he's kind of joined forces with Trump. What do you think about them joining forces? Do you support Trump's ticket?
Yeah, I think it's the smartest move. All of them have things I agree with and disagree with, but I will say too, I'm looking for a Trump hat, by the way. Let that be on camera. I'm looking for a Trump hat. This motherfucker has a black hat. I want it. I'm gonna buy it from him. That shit's dope as fuck. No, but no, seriously, but just like I'm saying, where people unite under the same belief, that's so important. RFK, people call him crazy. He's not. He's articulate. He actually balances out Trump, I think, in a wonderful way, where Trump will say shit like they're eating dogs and cats. I don't care. I thought that was funny as fuck, by the way, on the record.
They're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats.
Also some true shit in that. Let it be stated. No, but he balances them out in a wonderful way. I think that's needed. But he's got a couple of people on there. Vance, I don't know enough about him yet. I'm watching him speak. He did an interview with Tucker Carlson recently that really caught my eye, and I did like listening to him there.
Okay, great. And so you all came from Delaware. So this must have meant a lot to you. You drove all the way down here to support this movement. What do you say to people who are still kind of on the edge and saying they don't know if they're going to vote for Trump? They don't know if they support medical freedom. They believe in the mainstream media lies and not the truth.
So I say, do you? Just think for yourself and honestly, please just look into it. Don't be force-fed. Like, if you're gonna show up to any subject matter, take your time. You don't have to rush. Like, I'm not smart enough to know everything, so that's why I take my time. It took me years to find out I was being duped. And I said, okay, well, I don't have to be duped, and I don't have to continually be duped. And I was like, well, how many other things am I being lied to about? And so I'm here actually today precisely because of that. And so I think it turned out really well. So I would say do the same thing. I don't know.
All right. Thank you so much. Do you guys want to speak on anything? What brought you guys? Same thing?
For me, I moved here in June, so I'm new to DC. I'm also kind of new thinking about political things, and I'm big into health and wellness as well, so this movement, joining forces with probably some political ideologies that I also align with, is nice to bring that to the forefront. I think it's also nice to have a space for people who are told that they're crazy or you're a conspiracy theorist. It's only a conspiracy until it's true. And unfortunately, a lot of those have come to roost, and a lot of those conspiracies have been proven. So it's nice to have a place where people can go to and be like, oh shit, it's okay to speak up, it's okay to talk about it. And I think that's what they were talking about just a moment ago. Like, we weren't even allowed to talk about COVID. Like, you weren't allowed to question it. You just had to go along with it. And I did for a while. And, I got the shot. I had a business at the time, and I forced a lot of my employees to get the shot too. Because I thought that's what we should do. And I feel really bad about that now because
So what was your like wake up moment, like when you realized something's not right or this isn't correct, and I'm changing what I'm thinking about this?
I mean, I think it was certainly COVID. It was just how they handled things. They really did try and control what we did, what we said. Right before COVID, I was actually in China, which is very interesting. So I had a lot of friends in China, and the things that they were telling me were completely opposite of what the mainstream media was telling us. So like, okay, there's a little disconnect there. This is a little weird. I actually hadn't really become good friends with Sean yet, who I would say is now my best friend. And so meeting someone else, being able to bounce those ideas off of and get a different perspective, it's just so helpful. Because when you're in a echo chamber, like, is there any room for growth in an echo chamber? I don't think so. So I think it's just nice having the conversation. Having people that disagree with you is great. It pushes you to like reinforce how you feel, or just have more conversation. I think that's the goal.
All right. And I want to talk to you. What do you say? Because you guys look pretty young, and so we're here. We get on as far as the mainstream media is telling us that a lot of young people are supporting Kamala, and talking about there's nothing wrong with the border, all of that. Yeah, everything's cool. Everything's copacetic. How do you respond to that?
Clearly, okay. Can I back up for a second? I don't want to beat a dead horse, but the important thing that I just want to reiterate is what my brother said earlier. Is like, understand when you're being lied to and learn from it, right? Because the border is a great example of like that right there. My wake up was when they were lying about Trump with the whole, Charlottesville, and they were like, he said that, the Nazis, all fine people. Literally, switched to flipping my head when I was like, I watched the full speech. I'm like, it's all BS. But you have to watch the full thing. If you go and look at like what's actually happening at the border, like you can literally watch the videos, you can look at the data, you can hear from like the actual border patrol agents who are like, dude, no, like the government won't let us do anything about this. Like they could shut it down, but they're purposely choosing not to. Like it's clear as day, And I don't think a lot of the younger people. I think the attention span is relatively short. It's kind of the unfortunate part, and I think it's clear that the government makes a concerted effort through the media, and all their lobbyists and whatnot to take advantage of that by basically just feeding them like, okay, what feels good now? Feed them BS. Am I allowed to curse on here? I already did, sorry, but yeah. But I mean, they're just appealing to young people's short attention span. But I would just say this, like, any young people listening to this, you need to go actually be, you don't have to be a student, you don't have to be a journalist, but like read, and especially things you disagree with, from people you disagree with, and like, examine the information, weigh both sides. Like, just because somebody says it doesn't mean it's true, obviously, but the government counts on people not being able to actually take information and process it, which is why they said don't do your own research. It was the dumbest thing of all time. I was like, they're telling us on the news, don't do your own research during COVID. And I'm like, that's why idiots are taking toxic freaking things. Like, I knew about this just because I was paying attention. Like, it didn't mean I was going to be 100% right, but I'm like, something's up. I'm just going to question it. I'm like, anyway. But
yeah, I get it. So it sounds like you guys are voting for truth. You're voting for truth. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's not about a particular candidate. Of course, we only have two choices, but it's about truth. Would that be fair to say?
you remember what I said? So, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I think it's great. It's like, 'cause I think, I don't want to get into the semantics of that part, but like, principle is what I really care about. Like, and I frankly do not care about all the extras with two candidates. You're always going to be able to find dirt on people, so to speak. You can do that with anybody. Like, so if I took the person who says Trump's terrible, I'm like, bro, if we put a microscope on you, it's probably going to be some shady stuff. But you're insignificant and no one really cares. No offense. But like, what I care about is policy. I care about substance. I care about tangible things that I can see that are going to actually make an impact on a broad scale. Like that's what the president's job is. Like, okay, he banged the hooker. Sorry. Wow. Yeah, but yet you're celebrating it with rappers and stuff. You don't really care. Like, let's talk about the important part. What is he going to actually do? He was in office. Clearly, he did something. The other lady, she's in office. Mike, what are you going to do? She's saying all this stuff.
she hasn't done anything. She's been here for 3.5 years. Like, I'm running on a position that I have already, and I could be doing the things like right now. But
Right, that makes sense.
I got something to say about, like, you're saying, are you voted for truth? So we were actually talking a little bit earlier. There's a podcast with Chamath Palihapitiya, and he said it really well, I think. He said the messenger isn't the best. You know, like, Trump at large rubs a lot of people the wrong way. But the message is pretty good. Now, people like RFK and Tulsi Gabbard and Nicole Shanahan and some of these people that are starting to get behind Trump, like, unlikely people, but they're also great messengers to help spread that message, because Trump may not be the right messenger for most people. So I think it's great that they kind of all get underneath the same banner. And, you know, like RFK specifically, he's a critic of Trump, like a pretty harsh critic. So, like, let's think about how are people that, like, really don't align on all things coming together. Like, I think that's what America is, right? We don't